as we always do around this time, sucker shit.
You know, I was thinking. First of all, I'm dedicating this one to my cousin. That's my cousin AJ.
Big
Love him.
ups.
It's my boy.
Big ups.
It's my brother. Cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost 100 pounds. He's on this journey.
Looking good.
Love you, man. But me and him witnessed Black History together. In the city of Carson, where I used to have a home, there's a Denny's that had a bar attached to it.
Bar Denny's.
Black History in Carson.
In Carson,
Yeah.
Carson,
I
California.
just wanted to get that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at Denny's had the bar.
Yes.
It's a great place to go get strong drinks for a cheap price.
Yes.
Right across the street from the Carson hallway.
There you go.
Big up to Jan.
Right. So we in there, and I mean, it's still a Denny's. You can get food, you get everything. So they got the bar part, and then we in the booth, but it's pretty full. So a few young ladies walk in, okay, and we, I'm still raised old school gentleman. I don't sit and while women stand. Okay, you guys want to sit with us? Now I'm gonna give you the full picture. When they walked in, they looked like they played for the Monstars. Okay, it was a little point guard, a power forward, and there was a center. Only thing they didn't have was Don Cheadle. I was looking, I was like, damn, we're going to celebrity sighting. So they sit down, we talking, hey. So they had the 2468 menu. So like $2, fries, $4, unlimited pancakes, $6 cheeseburger, 2468.
Right.
So the center ordered one item off of each thing, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay. So back then, my cousin, he still smoked cigarettes. So we outside. He's smoking. I said, we just witnessed Black History. He said, what are you talking about? I said, the invention of the 20. It's like the 20. I said, one of each. Add 2, 4, 6, and 8. I said, we just witnessed Black History. It was being made. So we go back inside, and the girl's like, I know I need to lose some weight, but the gym memberships is too expensive. And I was like, Planet Fitness is $10 a month. You just ate 2 months. And with the tax, that's the $1 down too. It was at that moment that I realized the 10 is greater than 20.
So who's on the sucker shit?
10 is greater than 20. See, because what we want to do, no matter what the cost is fine, but what we need to do always costs too much.
Yes.
You 10 is greater than 20 niggas, you on some sucker shit.
No fucking doubt.
Fucking awesome.
10 is greater than 20, bro. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay. All right. So.
Keep talking about, keep it safe. All right.
So, okay. So as we always do.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. As we always do about this time, sucker shit.
I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
And this happened actually to me yesterday. I got into an interesting exchange about, it's my sucker shits and art talks. And I was told, well, maybe if you wrap your presentation in more vulnerability, then you can reach a wider audience. What they meant by a wider audience, they meant reach women. And I was like, well, the premise of our show is man talk. And if a woman wants to see a window into honest conversation amongst men, and she's curious, it's a good source for it. If not, it's not for you. My message is my message. But she's like, I disagree. And that's fine. Well, I said, Winter Schnitzel don't serve pie. Ain't nobody ever went to the hot dog stand looking for blueberry pie. And Marie Callender's don't sell hot dogs either. Right? What you want me to do is talk like you. This hot dog ain't no pie. Wiener schnitzel pie looking niggas. You on some sucker shit. That's what you inspired.
It's like some double entendre shit there going. You know what I'm saying?
It's not easy being me.
Okay. Welcome back to Skinny Black's Lounge. My name is Rob, aka Skinny Black, and to my left,
Ricardo Chubbs.
there he is. To his left,
JT, period of silence. Hi, Mom.
and to his left,
The ghost.
yeah, not the goat,
The ghost.
the ghost.
Yeah. Like the gooch.
So, thank you for tuning in. As always, this is a place where it's like the virtual man cave, Skinny Black's Lounge, where we can sit down and have conversations together, unpack some shit, and just really let our hair down. What I encourage people to do is, as you hear things and you have ideas, to comment, like, share, and our I don't want to say hope, but our aim and our goal is to that we get to spark conversations that may not be normally having, or actually add perspective to conversations that may already be having. So with that being said, we thought about doing, well, I guess I thought about doing a show as we were bouncing around what the topics were gonna be. And I said, you know what? One thing, it got inspired by a conversation I had, a back and forth I had with several ladies on Facebook, on the Facebook group I'm in. And just to give everyone the cliff notes of it all, at a certain point, I threw out some data, and a young lady she questioned the data that I threw out, because I said most black men are single, childless, and in the middle class. And so she threw out a question of where are they, what age group, all these other questions. So I sent her to a couple of websites. I said, check out blackdemographics.com, census data, or the CDC. And she answered back 2 words: I'm good. And so it struck me like, wow, like, she asked a question. I thought I was being helpful and helping her solve this issue for her, and she seemed to not want my help. Then there was a couple of other responses that came behind that were like, well, she answered back. So when I responded, said on the ungood, I was like, well, there it is. You asked for it. I gave it to you. You don't want it. And so then her response to me was, well, you came off a little disrespectful. So my tone, I don't know how you pick up tone in typing, but apparently my tone was borderline disrespectful, because I answered her with data, statistics, and gave her a place to go. So with that being said, I figured we'd do a data show.
Hey, did you capitalize the www when you showed her the website? She's like, you yelling at me.
I don't even think I even put the www there. You know what? I might have capitalized the black.
There you go.
That's what it was.
All right.
Yeah, your use of pejorative terms like 50% and 1/3, and it was offensive.
Offensive.
It was offensive. And
Offensive.
you also used the term black,
With a capital B.
yeah, which is also pretty offensive. You know what I mean? I'm an Afro-American.
Oh,
Yeah,
one of those.
the hairstyle. Even though I lack the follicle to reinforce that now, but at one point
Afro.
I was kind of tight.
I'm glad they changed that, because I'm bald headed.
You know?
Yeah, I'm bald-headed American.
Yeah.
So So who wants to start with their data? What? So we all agreed to come to the table with some data and stats, and we talk about it. So who wants to hit first?
We'll go with you, Robert.
Oh, you want me to hit first?
This is your inspiration.
Okay, well check this out. So, I don't know when this is gonna get dropped, but Dave Chappelle show just dropped last week, and
We better drop it soon then. Go ahead.
And so, with all of the hoopla around Dave Chappelle, I was curious. What's the percentage of our United States population that's trans? And according to the CDC risk factor surveillance system, 1/2 of 1%, 0.54 1/2 of 1% is 0.54, and which totals 1.36 million Americans identify as trans. I just want to throw that out there.
So how many is that?
1.36 million.
But it's 0.54.
Yeah, 0.54. 1/2 of 1%.
Okay.
That of total U.S. population.
U.S. population, I'm sorry, it's like 380 million, something like that.
Yeah, and one point. If I identify as trans.
Yes.
Okay. And then, now we say this as to not diminish that number. We're just saying
Yeah.
in
light of all the attention.
In light of all the attention, definitely in light of all the attention, and also in light of, we're going to get into this thing here about specifically the rights of trans people and in their word, intersectionality, and how their human rights intersect with already existing legislation and laws that are already on the books, because we recognize the fact that there are some things that need to be done in there in regards to identifying them and validating them in society. But we're going to speak to this point of this marginalization that they speak of. So go ahead.
And to that point, which I'm glad, that was a soft handoff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pause, not soft. Yeah. With that point,
He's having a moment.
you talk about marginalization. What I don't know, what I'm curious is to, and I hope people can figure this out and send this to us and put us in the chat. What's the percentage of those 1.36 million trans are Black trans women?
Who's to know? But my immediate thoughts are, I'm an advocate for everybody to have equal rights. But I think of it like transportation. So we all met up here, we all drove and met. Or if you don't have a car, you can take public transportation or Uber, right? Nobody came up here on a piggyback ride. And when I think about all these other movements, all they do is piggyback ride on the Black struggle.
No doubt.
And I don't know about everybody else, but my legs are tired. So get off my back and stand on your own 2 feet.
And we go further with that. So we can make it even very specific. So we can speak to all of the police reforms that people are putting forth in different bodies of legislation, different bills. There's a myriad of them in different spaces throughout the country. Okay, and what it does is, it is an aim to create accountability for rogue actors in law enforcement. So we'll speak to rogue actors in law enforcement, and we won't place any color or gender on these rogue actors.
Right.
Albeit they're mainly white males, but we won't do that. So in the space of that, okay, the people who have been sacrificed the most are Black males. Black people, but Black males primarily, but we're not going to go into the minutiae of that, but Black people. Okay, so within the space of accountability, none of it says, thou shalt not beat on thy black head. It says, police who are rogue actors will be held accountable in this fashion. They're going to create policy and create projects and funding and infrastructure to take policing out of certain things, mental illness, homelessness, of these things. So you're going to pull policing out of that and then add infrastructure there to get rid of a specific bias that policing creates in people and forces rogue action. Okay, so within that of holding those things, those accountable, we're not writing in anything that's specific that says black. So why would we need to write in anything that specifically says don't do trans people like this? So there's a intersection of policy here that creates accountability for all people to hold these rogue actors into account. However, history has shown that the people that are bearing the brunt of that, and then the people that are pushing forth the most resistance to that, are black people historically. So where in this are you looking? Because this is all about the slight, and this is all about some form of marginalization. What in that space are we doing to marginalize trans people and black trans people specifically? And then you show me where someone like a Chappelle specifically has incited some form of, and give me some data, please, because I could point to a full-on insurrection inspired by Donald Trump. I can speak to him and Jeff Sessions' removal of police consent decrees that held police departments into account, and removal of collection of data on arrest records by race. So I can go to specific things here, and a whole system that codifies these things. So show me in this space where somebody like Dave Chappelle saying, you know, genetics is a fact, is somehow one, creating violence, two, marginalizing, or three, in any way creating a culture of disavowing that person's affirmation of their being. I'm just curious, you know. And
well, the argument against Dave is bullshit, because those people arguing didn't watch it, because the conversation was about racism, and it was about how LGBTQIA plus community who are white can lean on whiteness when it's convenient and put aside their sexual piece, right? And so my question about asking folks about the percentage of that 1.36 million of trans folks who are black trans women goes back to your piece, is like, they're still, and who are witnessing catching the most hell at the end of the day. Those are our brothers who have made the decision, who, you know,
they were
to
brothers.
be trans. They were brothers.
They were brothers.
But it's still brothers.
Yes.
We still catching hell there too.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
definitely.
the interesting thing I pulled from what he said was, I mean, you know, it's a little side road, you know how my mind goes, about the legislation and the impact. It amazes me how you cannot specifically say black folks, but everybody else can get specifics.
Yes.
So to all you Negroes that said, well, you know, Obama's the president of everybody, not just of black people, do you think that if Mitt Romney would have won, the Mormons would have got some love? You don't think that he would have slid them a bone, right? So that's why I talked about that piggyback ride, right? We great when somebody is standing on our backs and our shoulders to get theirs. But when they got theirs and they jump off, thanks, nigga. You know, see you later. All right. See you at Essence.
And no, this is that's funny. That's funny as shit. And this has come up in some of the circles that I'm in, you know, professionally, where, you know, we talk about the term BIPOC, and we talk about it here on the show too, to where all of these movements, social justice, racial justice movements, whether it be women's rights, LGBTQIA, immigrant, all of these pieces come out of and are born out of Black struggle. All of the legal challenges that they've had and in support of their movements have come out of laws specifically to even the playing field of equity for Black people. All the equal protection shit.
Well, specifically fought for by Black people.
Yes.
Put into the form by Black people.
Not just given, but fought for, died for, blood, sweat, and tears.
None of which identifies any of us in there specifically. They were all created to benefit a collective of people believed to be marginalized. Now, the whole BIPOC thing, in theory, would be acceptable if, in fact, that the other people in BIPOC, outside of the Black people, and some conduits to those people who happen to be Black, didn't play preferred minority when it came time for some benefit, where it was no longer convenient for them to align themselves with Blackness, and then typically buy in to the other stereotypes that are placed upon us. For instance, in 2000, I started working for a project funded by NASA at Cal State LA that educated teachers in science and education. And so my job was to go to Title I schools. And Title I schools are schools that receive free lunch. And so what I did, I identified, I just go to the website. Title I school. Built into this, at each school's website, this is before schools were really created their own website. The district created sub websites for each one, and it basically was just built on demographics, school population, school location, school demographics by race, and then in there they built in discipline. For some odd reason, that's just what they did. And so what I noticed is, as I'm going through it, I noticed the dramatic racial shift or cultural shift in LAUSD at specific schools. Schools that were predominantly Black now were predominantly Latino. And schools that were that had whiteness in them were no longer white. There was an exodus of white students out of LAUSD, specifically in areas of like the East Valley, the North Valley, and in the South Bay. Schools like Carson and Narbonne and Gardena, and Westchester. Okay, but what I noticed is I would look at the breakdown in discipline and how many suspensions, and then the suspensions by race. This is 21 years ago. And I would look at a school like Roosevelt, and Roosevelt's percentage of Black students would be 1% or less, but they'd be 50% of the suspensions. Okay, Lincoln High School, Garfield High School, these are all 90% Latino schools, with like 8% Asian, things like that, but 90s. And speckled, a couple hundred Black students in enrollments are exceeding, between 3 and 5,000, because a couple of them were huge schools at the time. And I noticed that consistently we were the majority of the suspensions, at least 50%, and specifically Black males. And then I looked at the expulsion numbers for the district, and I looked at them, and the expulsion numbers for the entire LAUSD was littered with Black students.
Yep.
Okay. And so then I started to work for LAUSD 2 years later in the classroom, and then so I have this data, and I'm trying to process this data, and so as I'm in there, I'm looking at it, how Black students are being disciplined, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is just like the criminal justice system. Then, we commit the same crime, but our punishment is exponentially higher. But the difference is the punishment is not being doled out by that white male boogeyman, is systemic. It is being doled out by BIPOC.
Yes.
In every instance, BIPOC was doing this.
That's why I ain't fuck with none of his album.
So,
Like
my
Tupac,
example,
but not BIPOC.
my anecdotal experience based in the data, and then looking at how this happens, and I can come to the summation that if I look across these, I can look at people buying in to those greater societal stereotypes about Blackness and criminality, and then thus it manifesting at a very, very young age.
I didn't even, I learned something. I didn't know I was a Title I kid.
Free lunch.
Yeah, because you don't know about this. We will bond over this one.
Oh, okay.
Because if you ain't had one of them LAUSD coffee cakes, see, he know.
Give me an end piece of the coffee cake.
Yep, we want the end off the tray. Give me the
Yes.
cold juice.
Oh, man.
Right, man, I was in heaven. Don't even talk about it, Sweet Home Alabama.
You had we ain't have free lunch and coffee cake in Alabama, bro.
But it wasn't
We
like
had
I
that
said.
shit.
LAUSD.
I get you.
Okay.
I get you, bro.
I didn't take molasses away from y'all.
Okay, bro.
So don't take coffee cakes away from us.
Okay, bro.
All right.
Hey,
Coffee cakes and gangbang. Ain't from LA.
you can have it. It's all yours.
Blood scripts and
Hey.
coffee cakes.
Hey,
Creased
and-
up Levi's.
and
Unwashed.
all of it got exported to Alabama.
Oh man.
Go ahead.
No.
No, I was just gonna say the funny thing out of all of this, when we talk about Title IX, Title VI, Title I, all that shit come out of 14th Amendment. All that shit come out of the civil rights legislation of the 60s for Black folks. So I just